Okay, Simons and Chabris, take two. So on this narration, I will go through the study. So the aims. There were three aims of Simons and Chabris, and obviously we're looking at the different things that could affect your inattentional blindness. So the first thing is looking at the effect of superimposition compared to live events. So superimposition, think superimposing photography, where you put things onto each other. Okay, so what they did here was have the black team and the white team and the gorilla or umbrella lady, we'll come on to her later, do their things separately and then put all three videos together and compress it into one. So they want to see if that had an effect on if people saw the unexpected event. They wanted to look at how hard task difficulty was. So if it was a harder task you're asked to do, were you less likely to see the unexpected event? And lastly, looking at the unusualness of the event. So looking at if something was more unusual, were you more or less likely to see that event? So here we have 228 mainly students who were self-selected, and quite randomly, some weren't paid, some received a candy bar, yummy, and some were paid. Very bizarre, random information, but I love it. So with materials, you kind of need to get our heads around. I've got this year. Get our head around the videos themselves. So they were 75 seconds long. And they had the two teams, black or white shirts, playing basketball in front of three elevator doors. As you know, they passed to each other. They either did bounce passes or aerial passes. I'm assuming that you know what those are. If not, let me know. So after 44 to 48 seconds, the unexpected event occurred. There was two. Either a very tall lady holding an umbrella walking past, looking very dapper, going a bit like Mary Poppins, really, going through the basketball scene, or as the one you've kind of seen is the kind of gorilla costume. It took about 5 seconds for the people to walk through the video. So they made a couple of videos. The first one is linked to that first aim about the superimposition, so the transparent video. Okay, so they made two types of these. Okay, either had the woman walking through or the gorilla, so that's the two. And remember, they had the black team do it separately, the white team, then either the gorilla or the lady walking through, and they put all three videos together to make one. And they also filmed two videos all live, which was amazing. So the white team and the black team and either the gorilla or the umbrella lady walking through all at the same time. Obviously, it had to be rehearsed, and they've done that really well. Okay, so they were the four videos. Four. There we go. So, very ethical study. All gave as much informed consent as they could in advance. The people told what they're going to do. And just like the video shows you, they're asked to keep a silent count of the number of passes. But this then forms another condition. Half of the participants are asked just to count the number of total passes. Okay, so that's seen to be the easy condition. And half of the participants are asked to count the number of bounce passes and aerial passes. So the idea here was that was harder because you had to keep two mental counts. Therefore, they assumed that you'd be less likely to see the unexpected event. So this breaks it down into the 16 conditions, and this is the bit you need to get your head around. Okay, it's not like mega life-threatening, but if you understand the 16 conditions, you'll understand what they've done in the study. If we were in a normal lesson right now, you wouldn't be allowed to leave the lesson until you can name all 16 conditions, and I wouldn't let you in the next lesson unless you could tell me all 16 conditions. Okay, so it's something, if you get your head around it, it's grand. So the first lot there, as you can see where it says white easy, there were four groups of white easies. Okay, so here I shall use Ipswich blue. Okay, so the first group, so just imagine you were in the first group, you had to count the white team and so that's the W. The E for easy stands for just being able to count the total number of passes. UC, what do you reckon UC stands for? That's right, umbrella condition. And then TC stands for transparent condition. Okay, so if we go through other ones, we've got then the OC, which is the opaque condition, so when the video was filmed live, and the GC, you've guessed it, is the gorilla condition. Okay, so we've got 16 conditions in total. Okay, I think you'll be able to work out the abbreviations, but that's 16 groups to test the 4 IVs. Because if you think about it, you've got an IV of white and black, which they didn't assess for. Another IV of if it is easy or hard. Another IV if it's transparent or opaque, and another IV of gorilla or the umbrella. Okay, so 4 to the power of 4 is 16. Okay, that's how we get the 16 conditions. So they were watched the videotape and straight away asked to write down their count on paper. They were then asked 4 questions. Okay, I love the last one. Did you see the woman walk or the gorilla walk across the screen? And that stage we're going, what are you talking about? But they always ask these questions, so you can see it's very standardized. Okay, at any stage they went, yes, I saw the gorilla. They were asked to kind of describe what they saw. And they skipped the rest of the questions. They were then fully debriefed, so it only took people 5 to 10 minutes to kind of complete. So a nice simple study for the participants. Randomly there were 21 observers doing the test, so I know you're all screaming, how is this going to be reliable, Kevin? Okay, and the reason it's reliable is because Simon Chabris gave written standardized procedures of everything, what to say and what to do in order. The only slight variance was the size of the telly. Some lucky people got to see it on a big 36-inch telly. Not that big anymore, is it? Or just a dinky little 13-inch one. Okay, so that's kind of the only kind of real big issue here. So results. They got rid of 36 results. 14 knew about it, so you know the poll I put on Teams. That was the reason, just to kind of copy this study. Okay, so 14 knew about it, 9 people lost count, 7 couldn't count properly, 5 people's answers couldn't be interpreted, which is brilliant, like, and we couldn't work out what they said. And then one special person was so far away they had to just give them special notice, so 3 standard deviation points. Basically they said that there were 8 passes when there are actually 15. Ooh. So the key result is, out of what is left, 192 participants, 54 people noticed the gorilla or umbrella, but a whopping 46% didn't. So that's the basic result of the study, but I want to kind of break down the results and the conclusions linked to the 3 aims for. So this is the overall results table. These are percentages, so a random one, so here this one, woo, okay, only 8% of people in the easy task with the white team on the transparent condition with the gorilla noticed the unexpected event. So that's how to read this. Okay, so the first aim was looking at the effect of superimposition. So this is fairly straightforward. All they would have done here was add up the means percentages for the transparent condition and then the means for the opaque conditions, and you can see here the transparent only 42% and then 67% for the opaque. So it made it harder if it was a transparent superimposed image. Okay, it's easier to spot it in real life. Okay, the second aim was looking to task difficulty. So here we're going to add up the percentage totals for all the easy tasks and the hard tasks. We would assume that the people doing the hard task would recognise it less, and you'll see here, yes they do, 45% against 64%. And then lastly, we have impact of the gorilla or the umbrella. So the idea is they would have added all the umbrella people scores together, and then all of the gorilla people. Oh, the purple's nice. I'm getting so good at this, guys. Scores together. And for the umbrella, 65, gorilla 44. Okay. You're going to ask me why there's two percentages here. In the original paper, they said 66% and 43%, but I've done the maths. It was actually 65% and 44%, and I'm always right, you know that. I don't know how they got that wrong, but they obviously couldn't add up. So it was harder to see the gorilla, which kind of is counterintuitive because you'd think it'd be easier to notice something that was unexpected because it's like, wow, what's that? But no, it's the other way around. And they are the conclusions for the studies. So, as always, I want you to make your study summary. Okay, make sure you've got the conditions sorted in your head and what like the four kind of groups of conditions were. Next session we will try and evaluate it and go through, but I'm here for you. Ask questions, you know the score. Okay.